Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and this is going to be kind of a different video. It's not really a video I typically do for this channel, but I was thinking, why not? We're in quarantine, so better time to do this. And I have done a video similar to this in the past. And basically in this video, I'm going to be showing you every single play that I have, every theatrical play. I think that as an actor, it's very important for you to constantly be reading plays or scripts or whatever, or books on acting or whatever, in order to motivate yourself and to become a better actor. Always be practicing your craft and whatnot. And one thing I like to do often is just read plays. I've actually amassed quite a big collection of plays here, which I'm gonna showcase. And yeah, and I've actually done a video similar to this in the past. For my 100 video special about 2 years ago, give or take, I did the same thing, but with all my movies. I have a huge movie collection as well. And in that video, I basically showcased all my movies. And in this case, I'm going to be showcasing all my plays, all my theatrical plays that I have, scripts and whatnot. And it's funny because I've actually been trying to do this video for some time already. It's actually the fourth time I filmed this. The other three times they've failed for several reasons. So yeah, so let's just get right into this. So the first play I have here is called The Laramie Project. Have it in this format. Let me make sure I'm not mixing it up with anything else here. I actually have like here in paper. See, I do have some plays that are kind of just like this in paper and whatever, because I got them from school, because we're going to perform them or we're practicing a scene from it or whatever have you. So I do have a few plays kind of like that scattered around like this. So I'm going to show you these first, the ones that are basically paper first, and then go on to the actual hard copy. So Laramie Project is the first one I have. So yeah. Next up, I have the script to the deal. I actually have two copies of it, which is my first film, the short film that I directed. It's on the channel, so go check it out. So yeah, that's two scripts for the deal. Next up, I have a scene from The Little Dog Laughed. I actually do have the full play somewhere here, so you'll see later. But this is basically the first scene from The Little Dog Laughed. A scene that's actually on the channel. Go check it out. And I also recently did a monologue from that play from The Little Dog Laughed, so also check it out too. It's on the channel. Next up, we have Bulgarian Rhapsody. It's a play I performed last year during the summer. I finally got the footage of me performing, so I'll probably be posting that pretty soon, so I'll definitely check it out. Well, basically, this play is about a family in Bulgaria who's going to meet their American cousin, and it's basically a farce, a farcical play of satire, so it's very funny. I like it, and I played the role of Stanimir. He is the father of the family, so he's interesting. He's pretty cool. He's pretty funny. So yeah, definitely go check it out. Now again, I'll be posting that video pretty soon. Next up, we have Four of Hearts. This is a play that we were gonna put on last year again during the summer at my school, and I was gonna be portraying the character of Harry. But for one reason or another, we decided to do another play or another series of plays, because during the summer we did 6 plays, right? So, yeah, 6 plays, and this is going to be one of them. But for whatever reason, we decided not to go with this one. So yeah, and because of that, I actually never read what this play's about, or I never actually read it. So yeah, I'll read it. I'll read it eventually, to be honest. Next up, we have, what is this? We have Warner Bros. Another play that I actually recently got the footage for, so I'll also be posting that somewhat soon. Warner Bros. Is basically you have these 3 employees for the Warner Bros. Studio who basically see like their daily lives in it, and then towards the end of the play we get a 4th character, which in my opinion is kind of unnecessary, but that's just me. But yeah, it's a pretty I was about to say short play, but it's actually kind of long, even for a 1-act play, in my opinion. It's about 40 minutes, give or take, for a 1-act play, which is at that point kind of long in my opinion. I play the character of Stu, who's kind of the struggling screenwriter, trying to make it big in Hollywood, of course. And they all work for Warner Bros. Studio, pretty good, and I really like it. Stu is a good character in my opinion. Although it does kind of continue a trend that I have, that I get typecasted a lot, which is I always end up dying. Yeah, it's such a typecast. I even made a whole death reel. So yeah. Next up is Diminished Then Augmented. It's actually this play I actually co-directed, or co-directed with my teacher. Basically, this is kind of another farcical play, or it's supposed to be farcical. I honestly didn't find it all that funny in my opinion. Like, yeah. But basically, you have these 2 corrupt cops who are trying to interrogate this young man because he has information on the mafia. and basically the chaos that ensues with that. Honestly, I didn't find that funny. So yeah, it was still a nice experience. Co-directing it. Next up, I have The Law is the Law. It's a two-act play, and this is actually from sorry, this is actually from my playwriting class, where we had to basically write a two-act play. I guess I thought it was a one-act play. I don't know why it's two-act plays here. It says right here. So this is by one of my classmates. I don't remember what it's about, to be honest. I don't remember what it's about. But yeah, I do remember I had to like review it and like give my opinions on it, which yeah I have here in the back. Probably reread this to see what it's about. So yeah. These next two are basically scenes from A Few Good Men, Aaron Sorkin, of course. Which actually this scene I actually directed, and you guys should find it on my channel. It's basically the scene where Kathy breaks down. You can find it on the channel. Mixed emotions on how it turned out, in my opinion, and mixed emotions also because of the experience, but whatever. And I actually do have the full play somewhere else here, so when we get to it, what is this? Next up, I don't know. Okay, this is by Scott Organet, but I don't know what the name of the play is. It doesn't really say here. It just says that's from the backstage book of New American Short Plays, and it says it's by Scott Organ. The characters are Karen and Elizabeth. It's a one-act play, apparently, but it doesn't say the title. Yeah. Um, so yeah, don't know what it's about. Next up, we have Influence, which is by Jace Elton, or yeah, Jace Elton. This is basically like the Law is Law play, a one-act play where from our school that we had to write and perform later on in the summer. This would have been 2 years ago. We actually did perform this. We actually and Jace on his channel, he actually does have a vlog showing some of the scenes that we did. We actually did a small skit with Influence, with some of the characters from Influence as well, which is also on my channel. So yeah, we were gonna do a full short film version of this, but for whatever reason he decided not to do it at the end, which I'm honestly kind of disappointed. But hey, we still have to play. I still have the script, so it's all pretty good. Next up, we have Luna Gale, which is the most recent theatrical play that I've done. Last year during December, I played the character of Cliff Carlson. I was about to say Cliff Curtis. No, but Cliff Carlson. He's basically the boss of the whole operation. And basically, in this play, you have these two drug addicted parents who just had a baby, and because they're drug addicts, they for obvious reasons can't keep the baby. So you have this social worker, who's the main character, Caroline, who's trying to work with these parents to see if they could somehow keep the baby once they've become rehabilitated. But me, being the boss, I'm the boss, says that it's basically, no, that's not going to work out. Screw that. Put the baby up in adoption and blah, 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 blah. And honestly, I kind of relate with this character. I actually really like this character. It's a really fun character to play. I actually really like it. And honestly, in my opinion, in my honest opinion, I don't think that my character is the villain. So yeah, like even when I was reading this, even before I got the parts, I was thinking, nope, he is not the villain. I don't see why he's. I mean, technically, yeah, he is the villain of the play, but honestly, he's doing everything right in my opinion, and it's Caroline who's doing everything wrong in my opinion. And I don't know, it's just kind of funny how that kind of turned out. But yeah, and like it's a really fun play, fun to perform. There is one issue I have to play, writing wise, but that's basically one of the characters that's kind of unnecessary in my opinion because of the way she's handled. But that's besides the point. Next up is Teachers Lounge, which is I think the film version of this is supposed to come out soon. And the reason I say film is because we performed this last year during February, yeah, late January or early February. I don't really remember. We only performed it once. By the way, this theater experience, in my opinion, was kind of a mess for several reasons, which I'm not going to get into right now. But I know they filmed it apparently, and then they, for whatever reason, didn't want to release it or something. Honestly, I don't even know the full story behind it. But now they've put out a trailer, which is one of the most recent videos I posted on this channel, and they're going to release it soon. Apparently, I don't know when soon is, but yeah. Uh, yeah, I have mixed feelings about this play in general, both from how it's written and just being on the cast and all that, and just actually performing it. I have a lot of mixed feelings about it. So yeah. Okay, next up we have, oh, and that plays by Tanya, yeah, Tanya Lightborn, by the way. So yeah. Next up we have Holy Ground by DM Larson. I have a few DM Larson plays. Don't know what it's about. To be honest, it's I know it's supposed to be a musical. I remember that much. But I don't really remember what it's about. I know I read it at some point, but don't really remember what it's about. Another DM Larson play is When Mel Fell for Nell. Um, I feel like I read this one, but I don't remember anything about it. So yeah. And the next up, also by DM Larson, is Secrets of My Souls. I know for sure I never read this one. So yeah. Okay, next up I have this. Uh, it's more of a, how would you say, like just an arts book in general, I guess. It's from my school, just Miami Dade College, where like every year they kind of have this book that showcases pictures and poems and whatever. But this one has a pretty nice play. It's a short play, short one act play called Engagement by Leanna Rodriguez. It's a few pages long. It's actually a pretty decent play in my opinion. For what it needs to be. So yeah. Next up, I have Church and State by, I don't remember. Actually, I don't remember who it's by, to be honest, right now. But I have it in here. It's another play I performed, and the reason it's in a compositional book is because this is something that my director slash teacher recommended. Is that we just grab the script, cut it up, and then just write our notes here on the margins, sides, whatever. So yeah, here I portrayed the character of Tom, right? Yeah, that's his name, Tom. Who's basically the intern to the political candidate. Basically, in this play, what happens is that right before the play starts, there's this massive school shooting, and this is around the time where there's supposed to be re-elections for city council or Congress or something like that. I don't quite remember. But the the main character, is a Republican, so he's supposed to be pro guns. But given what just happened with the school shooting, you know what, just the chaos ensues with that. And I'm basically his intern in the play. So yeah. And then I also portray another character called Marshall Hudson, who is the reporter who basically takes his words out of context. When he goes to the funeral, we have a scene where he goes to the funeral of the recently killed kids, of the victims. You have this reporter who's kind of there to kind of basically misconstrue what he's saying in regards to the situation. So yeah. Next up, I have my old literature book from my English literature book. But there are a few plays here do that I think are essential reading for the most part, and some of them I haven't heard, but hey, screw it, why not? And let me just flip the page very fast so you can see what plays we have here. And the plays are Trifles by Susan Glaspell, Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry, Doll's House by Henrik Ibsen, Sure Thing by David Ives, Rodeo by Jane Martin, Andre's Mother by Terrence McNally, which, by the way, rest in peace, he recently died. I think it was to COVID, of all things. So, Hamlet by Shakespeare, Antigone by Sophocles, Los Vendidos by Luis Valdez, and Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams. So yeah, those are all here in my old English composition book. So yeah. Now on to the other plays. Next up, I have Othello by Shakespeare, of course. Crucible by Arthur Miller. I did a scene from the Crucible for a class. Sucked. I'm not even gonna deny it. It sucked. I portrayed Proctor John. It was just terrible for several reasons. Part of it had to do with the fact I just wasn't as dedicated as an actor at the time, so I didn't really care that much. So yeah. But after that, it definitely improved in my opinion. So yeah, Romeo and Juliet by Shakespeare, of course. Um, Julius Caesar, also Shakespeare. I want to say I performed a monologue from Julius Caesar or Hamlet. Iago. Which plays Iago from? Othello, right? Hamlet. I know I've done a few Shakespeare monologues here. I know I've done the an Iago monologue. I'm pretty sure that's from. Someone correct me down below because right now I'm forgetting. He's from Hamlet, right? Hamlet or Othello? Hamlet. Right now I'm getting them mixed up. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I've also done a Julius Caesar monologue if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken. Um, Music, Play the Fruit of Love, Play On. Is that from Julius Caesar or is that another play? Right now my memory's shot for some reason. So yeah. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf by Edward Albee, of course. Haven't read it yet. I know I've read a scene from it for a class because I remember we had to review it. But as in terms of reading the whole play, I have not yet. Next up, we have Oedipus the King, Oedipus Rex by Sophocles. Arguably my favorite play, to be honest. It's just so fucked up. It's just so fucked up. If you know what it's about, yeah. Um, it's honestly my favorite play. Quite arguably. There's one more play. There's another play that could probably give it a run for its money, in my opinion. But yeah. Next up, Harry Potter and then the Cursed Child. Um, yeah, I actually like this book. As to whether it's canon to the overall Harry Potter world, that's a whole different question, which I'm not going to get into right now. Um, so yeah, I mean, all I'm going to say is that there are some things I think should be canon, and there's some things that really shouldn't be canon, and there's some things that are really should just be left up for interpretation. And yeah, but honestly, as a standalone book or a standalone, yeah, project or as a standalone story within the Harry Potter world, it's good. But once you try to connect it to the rest of the Harry Potter world, it gets kind of complicated. And I'm also going to say that my views on this book aren't really shared with the vast majority of people. So yeah. Next up, we have The Visit by Friedrich Dürrenmatt. This is a German play, tragic comedy. I remember I read the first act, I want to say, or act of this, and then for some reason I just put it down and never got back into it, so I'll have to reread it all over again just to get the full scope about it. But it's basically about it's about this woman who comes back to her old town, and she comes back really rich, and everybody knows she's rich, so they're trying to basically mooch off her essentially, and see how they could benefit from her. And this is a German play. I wonder who did the translation. Does it say here who does the translation or no? By Joel Agee. So yeah, the play is by Friedrich Dürrenmatt and translated by Joel Agee. So yeah, that is The Visit. Next up, I have a collection of plays by Brian Friel. I have Philadelphia, Here I Come, The Freedom of the City, Living Quarters, Aristocrats, Faith Healer, and Translations. Um, I've I've read Philadelphia, Here I Come, and Translations and Faith Healer. I've done a film version of Philadelphia or Philadelphia, Here I Come, or film version of one of the scenes from Philadelphia. I've done a few monologues from Philadelphia, so I really like Philadelphia. It's a great play in my opinion. Faith Healer I thought was pretty good. Translations I thought was all right. Would need to reread it again to be honest because I'm kind of murky on what happens here to be honest. The other ones I honestly haven't read, but yeah, definitely. It's funny because I needed Philadelphia. Here I Come for class back in high school, and it was actually cheaper to get the collection than the play itself. I don't remember what the difference was, but I remember this was cheaper, and since at the time I was really getting into acting, better this than better 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 play, better 6 plays than one, especially if this is cheaper. So yeah. Next up, The Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams. Honestly, between this and Oedipus Rex or Oedipus the King, whatever, these are honestly my top two favorite plays. Personally, Glass Menagerie was great. I've done a monologue from Glass Menagerie, which I kind of want to redo. It's the monologue, the it's Tom's monologue where he basically goes attacks his mother, and I forget right now how he goes. It's I'm going to opium dents. Yes, opium dents. That monologue. I kind of want to redo it. I'll probably redo it sometime later. Right now, maybe who knows? Because since we have time. I remember I performed it very early on this channel, and it was all right. But could redo it and do it better now. So yeah. So Glass Menagerie. Next up, Streetcar Named Desire. Great play, great movie. That's all I really have to say. So yeah, never don't know what to say about Streetcar without bringing up the movies. To be honest, because I mean the movie's just iconic. So yeah, but it is a great play in of itself. So yeah. Next up, we have Twelfth Nights by William Shakespeare. This is the translated version. So you have the old English version and then the regular English version right next to it. Um, 12 Nights. Honestly, I really didn't care for the story of 12 Nights or whatever. It was like, cool, that happens. Whatever. So yeah. Um, it's not my favorite play by Shakespeare. Although, admittedly, I haven't really read all of Shakespeare's plays because, yeah. Now let's see what we have here. We have The French Have a Word for It by Georges Feydeau and translated by Barnett Shaw. So yeah, this is a French play. So yeah, I remember I got this because I needed to read a play from a different language. This and the German play, The Visit. For an assignment, we had to read different plays from from a different language. That could be translated, of course. But yeah, I remember I read I read The Visit. I never read this one. I remember is I failed that assignment straight up. So yeah. Next up, I have A Few Good Men. Aaron Sorkin. Great play, great movie. Again, this like Streetcar. This is a play that you can't really mention the movie without mentioning the play. But it's great. Um, and then I know the whole at the end with Jack Nicholson's part. You can't stand the truth. I heard that. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I heard this, but that was a little bit improvised or changed from the original script to the film. And then because of how great that was, they actually incorporated that into the actual play. I'm not sure how true that is, but if that is the case, then damn. But this is a great play. I actually reread it quite recently, and still liked it, still enjoyed it, still great. Next up, The Little Dog Laugh by Douglas Carter Bean. Again, I did a scene from this. It's on the channel. I recently did a monologue from this. It's on the channel, and basically you have this movie star who's in the closet, and one night after a bender, he basically hires a cowboy, a male escort, and basically there's a chaos ensues with that because he's not really allowed to come out of the closet, even though he really wants to, and he's in love with this boy. And yeah, again, it's like the chaos ensues with that with him and his agent and this boy and the boy's girlfriend. So yeah, pretty good play in my opinion. Really liked it, and yeah. Next up, we have Barrymore's Ghost by Jason Miller. It's a two-act play, but it's just one act. This is a totally one-man show, and it's basically John Barrymore, right? It is John Barrymore, right? Or John or David Barrymore. Um, I don't remember which one. Right? Pretty sure it's John Barrymore. Um, Basically, it's after he's died, and him just looking back at his life and how he could have changed what he want. If he could have changed something, and just basically an introspective look at John Barrymore's life. If he could change stuff, what he would change, what he liked, what he didn't like, and all that good stuff. It's a one man show, two acts. Jason Miller, it's a great play. Definitely check it out. Next up, we have Dog Sees God: Confessions of a Teenage Blockhead by Bert V. Royal. We were actually gonna perform this play before COVID happened, and then because of COVID, we're not. We're going to perform it actually on April 9th and 10th. And yeah, I'll probably end up doing a few monologues from this just so my work doesn't go to waste. I was portraying Matt, who's Pigpen in the original Peanut cartoons. Because yeah, this is basically what it's about. This is basically the Peanut characters in high school. So I don't think Pigpen actually has a real name, now that I've seen. So they gave him the name Matt. Cool, whatever. So yeah, there's a few monologues here. It's not really that monologue heavy, in my opinion. And the really good monologues are really just given to two main characters, which is Beethoven and Charlie Brown, of course. And then his sister, Charlie Brown's sister, also gets a few good monologues. But aside from that, all the other characters kind of just thrown by the wayside, monologue wise. But my character has one or two monologues I could kind of make salvage somehow. They're like really short, so I'll see what I can do with that. And yeah, it's basically the Peanuts gang in high school and how they're basically all assholes essentially. Um, and that's really the best way to put it. So yeah. The last but not least, I have Nothing But the Truth by Avi. It's called. It's a documentary novel, which is essentially a play. And funny story with this. This is actually a play that needed to read in fourth grade or going into fourth grade, I think, or maybe going to third grade. I don't remember which one. During the summer for summer reading. I remember at the time I didn't like this book because of the way it was formatted, and the reason is because it's formatted like a goddamn play. You have the characters' names here on the side and their lines and whatever. And at the time, I was used to regular books. How they're structured. Like this is a book I have, but how books are structured like that. Blah 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 blah. But this was structured like a play. So of course, so I didn't. So because of that, I really didn't like this book. Um, and then I just never read it afterwards, and I kind of just forgot I had this till I was actually looking at for something else a few days back. And then I found this and saw it was a play. I'm like, oh damn. So I'll probably be reading this again soon just to see what it's actually about. I know what it's about. I just don't really remember the actual plot points. But basically, it's about this kid who during the national anthem, which by the way, it's very topical given current political situations. Probably would have been more topical a few years back, but screw it, why not? But it's basically about this kid who, during the national anthem, he instead of singing the national anthem or saying the national anthem with the rest of his class, he instead decided to hum it. So instead of saying, "Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?" he goes, so he just hums it, and for some reason that just caused a media shitstorm. So yeah, parallels to the Colin Kaepernick situation. Yeah, of course. I don't really get too political in general, but in my opinion, that whole situation was kind of blown out of proportion because of the politics behind it. It's like, yo, he let him protest. It is what it is. Like it's just the politics behind it was kind of stupid. Stupid. I have many opinions on that, but also some of the stuff that people are saying in regards to that was just kind of contradictory. I remember there's a statement by some soldier who got pissed off that Colin Kaepernick would do that, and then that the whole NFL would do that, and he was like, "Oh, that's not what we fought for our country," or some shit like that. And I'm just thinking, yeah, that's kind of what you did fight for. You fought for the right for Americans to have the right to do whatever they want, and one of our God-given rights is freedom of protest, or it's in the Constitution. So logically, that's he is allowed to do that. That is what you fought for him to do if he so wishes to do that. So, yeah, that's about as political as I'm ever gonna get on this channel. But yeah, would really love to reread this, especially now given current political climates. Would have been really interesting to read this a couple years ago, 2 3 years ago when that was actually going down, maybe 4 years ago. When was that whole Kaepernick situation going down? But whatever. But it'll still be an interesting read. So yeah, those are all the plays that I have. Are there any plays I should probably get? I mean, I'm pretty sure there's several plays I should get. But what do you recommend? Which ones do you think I should read? Are there any monologues from here that you want me to do? I know for sure I'm going to be doing a few of the Dog Sees God monologues from my character that I was going to do originally. I'll probably redo the Glass Menagerie Opium Dents monologue. And then after that, I'll see if anything from Luna Gale. I'll see if I can find a monologue from there from my character. My character I don't really think had monologues. To be honest, he had dialogues, like long dialogues, but I don't really recall him having an actual monologue. So I'll see what other monologues I could do from these plays, and yeah, I think that's basically it for now. If you guys enjoyed this style of video, this type of video, comment down below, like it, and do all that good stuff. Subscribe, of course. I do kind of want to do another updated video for my movie collection. The only thing is that would literally be like 2 hours long because I have over 1,000 movies, and I don't really feel like splitting that up into like 3 or 4 separate videos because I'm just lazy. As weird as that sounds. So I'll see what happens. I'll definitely be doing a few more monologues. See what, and yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Again, like, subscribe, comment down below on your thoughts, what plates I should get, or what monologues I should perform, or all that good stuff. And yeah, that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.